awesome. Well, you've seen the how of how we've been able to embrace this and design for inclusion within 321 Coffee's industry. Our next speakers are going to show you a completely new industry of how inclusion is thriving there. I'm so excited to welcome all the way from Massachusetts the team from AIS, a furniture manufacturing company that has successfully launched a program within their company called the Radiance Program that has over 200 people with different types of disabilities involved in working there every single day, from doing all sorts of different things. They are leading by example, and I'm so excited that we are able to welcome Nick, the company's CEO, Rick, the program leader, and Patrick, one of the program participants. We call you all the Icks, Nick, Rick, and Patrick. To share more about this, so to start, we're going to watch a little video to learn about the Radiance Program, and then we're going to continue the conversation.
We've always been very diverse here at AIS. We're in central Massachusetts. 75% of our staff is either bilingual or Spanish speaking. And neurodiversity was new, though. I think it's new to a lot of people. There's a little bit of a learning curve. It's continued to blossom, but the people in the factory, in the office, our dealers have been incredibly welcoming. And I got to tell you, I have never felt better about what I'm doing than I do today, and it's because of the Radiance Program.
So this partnership began with a conversation with the project manager at AIS responsible for building a community of inclusion and diversity in their workplace.
We went through all the concerns we had, the type of environment they would work in, any safety concerns. We set up a safety program where there's actually some specific training that we do. And then when they came in, we targeted an area that we knew would be successful, where we had a supervisor that we thought would be an amazing fit for the students coming in.
So many of the people that we serve in our community-based day and employment supports program come to our program seeking meaningful employment. These kinds of partnerships are so important to us and the people we serve because it provides an opportunity not only for the people in our programs to engage in competitive community-integrated employment, it provides a real value-added service to employers with whom we partner in the community.
At AIS, we're truly a family. When these individuals come in, they're welcomed by the employees. There's individuals coming in that are very, very challenged, and we make sure we try to find a task that's rewarding and helps those individuals to grow as well.
We now have over 120 young adults working at different intervals in the factory, and 6 of them have all become regular employees. Not full-time, they work 32, 20 hours.
So the work group from Seven Hills Aspire that manufactures these drawers are responsible for producing 25% of all the drawers that go into furniture produced by AIS, and as of our last quality report, they had a 0% reject rate. So we regularly hear positive praise and feedback from our partners at AIS on the great work that our group is doing. So much so that it has inspired AIS to partner with other organizations, schools, and similar collaboratives to provide opportunity for individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities.
AIS has always been a philanthropic. We're one of the 100 top philanthropic companies in Massachusetts. And I don't want to minimize it, but it's somewhat easy to write a check. But I've wanted to get the building engaged in all our philanthropic. So we have a Boost program, which is a group of internal employees. It has really meant a lot to our culture. I think as you walk around our space, people want to be here. They like being here. Our turnover rate is very low, and that's an investment.
Being in the community allows people to enhance their independence, whether it being at job sites or volunteerism, or kind of just getting out, getting some fresh air, walking around, and spending time together as a whole.
We're talking about building communities of care and caring for those in our community. And AIS has certainly risen to that occasion, opening up their doors.
It's just great to be able to sit here and watch the vans come in on a regular basis and watch the smiles come in and out of the building. It's awesome, and it feels great.
As a manufacturer, as a business, I believe it's the responsibility as well to help people that need help, as well as our own employees. So what we've got out of the program with the improvement in our own culture, with the kindness and the warmth and just that feeling that we're doing more than just building furniture at AIS.
Please welcome the Icks. So Patrick, Nick, Rick, thank you all for being here. Thanks for venturing down to Raleigh, North Carolina. Rick, I'd love to start with you. Can you please, and there's some more mics on the table, you can grab one. Perfect. Yes. Can you share the 30-second overview of how the Radiance program started?
Okay, but I have to take 10 seconds to just tell you that Matthew, Erin, Megan, you are amazing. You're amazing. You know, and all of your friends here that you work with, when you were back in high school less than a decade ago, you heard sometimes about gifted and talented programs. What your teachers forgot to tell you, you are the gifted and talented without question. You really are. So a quick snapshot on Radiance. We're coming out of COVID, you know, and we had a conversation about trying to open the doors to individuals that needed some employment and vocational training, and we hit the jackpot. Patrick was our pioneer. Nick's probably gonna talk about in a couple minutes. He was the first one we onboarded, and he has been such a charm to work with. The people in his department absolutely love him to death. And because of him, and his courage, and his conviction, and his commitment, you know, we were able to open the door to others. And you're right, we do have over 240 individuals coming in weekly from 19 different agencies. And we're just in the infancy of the whole thing. You know, there's a lot for us to learn, as Mike was talking about, and we're just going to continue to plow forward and open the doors to individuals. And we have found that the modifications we make in manufacturing and in our best practices are really about all of our employees.
Yeah.
And it is truly the individuals coming in that help us shape that. So we're so blessed.
I love that you brought that up, and I think that's something we see all the time at 321, that yes, there are certain things we do intentionally from an accessibility perspective, but it helps all of us, right? These improvements benefit everyone. Accessibility benefits everyone. Can you share some examples of some of the operations that you've modified along the way?
We have a young man who's dealing with Down syndrome, Danny, and he's the mayor of AIS. When he walks through the factory, people will stop, come over, shake his hand, they want selfies with him. And we're a company that have people from 34 countries. 34 countries, 5 different nations, and they just love these guys to death. He's just amazing. And so Danny wanted to use the glue gun in sealing the back of the boxes, but he couldn't pull the trigger. It was just a little bit too much pressure. So our engineers came down, a couple of them. They ripped the gun apart. They modified it. We tried a different gun, but it just wasn't right. And then Danny was able to glue the box. Now, Danny is a lot of other employees, too. It's not just one individual, but he helped guide us to be able to modify and adapt the equipment so anyone could actually use the glue gun. Awesome. Yeah, so that's one example right there.
That's fantastic. And I love that the change and some of that innovation came from internal engineers, through conversations we had leading up to today, you shared that it was something that they were excited to contribute to. And again, I mean, we met you all through the great folks over at PMC, and I can remember working with you all on an early project. We were redesigning the farmers market. Hello, homemade general contracting friends. And there was new software that your team was learning, and the use case was 321. And again, it just shows that from a business perspective, there's so much energy and buy-in when you know that it's contributing to something good. Thank you.
Pretty special.
Totally. Patrick, you get to do this work every day.
Why, yes, thanks, of course I do.
That's so awesome. Can you share a little bit of what you do, what your day looks like?
Well, when I first started working at AIS, one of my biggest passions, and to this day, is hooking up mounting bars with powerways using via air gun.
That sounds legit.
Yes, also, every so often I make special boxes. Recently I learned how to print labels for orders. Here's for like special skids that we put up for people, for buyers. It's like across the country.
Wow. So you do a lot of different things when you go to work.
Yes, even making special boxes like size 24, 30, 36.
You got to keep track of all those different components and what you're making.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, Patrick, did you know that we have some AIS furniture in our roastery?
I might have heard something.
It's
along
pretty
the way.
good. We use it every day. We love it. Thank you for your hard work.
Thanks, it's an honor.
Patrick, what time does your workday start?
At first, I used to work from 8 to 12, but then I figured there's so much more work to be done. Everybody needs more helping hands.
It's a good team player right here. So now what time is your workday?
Then it was 8 to 2 o'clock, but then 8 to 2:30.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you working 5 days a week?
5 days a week, yes.
Even Fridays. And I bet you show up in person on Fridays.
Yes. I
Yeah.
do.
Loyal. Patrick, I heard you got some good news recently from your company. I heard you got a raise.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome. How'd that feel?
Honestly, I was surprised. But then again, like I always tell myself at work, we gotta make ends meet. We gotta put bread on the table and a roof over our heads.
True. And someone's got to show up to do the work. Do you have a lot of friends at work?
Yes, there's my supervisor, Paola. There used to be Jessica, but she went to another department there. Then there's Rashua, Yemni, Yenny. Let's see, Kirara.
You got a lot of people that like you.
Yes. Oh, Dibelli. And
What about us?
sorry. Sorry, I forgot about you guys. I like to start with my department first. I am so sorry.
Don't worry, you're on the list. Patrick, I've heard that different departments will fight over who gets to have you working in their department each day.
Yes.
You're in high demand?
Well, I kinda, yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, because you do a good job.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak more with like my employers and everybody else at work too. But
That's awesome. And Patrick, one of my favorite questions to ask my team, because my team also likes to get paid. It's Aaron's favorite day of the week, payday, right? Yeah. I like to know what people are saving up their paycheck for.
well, every so often, first I save for my taxes or
Responsible,
like for groceries,
also responsible.
and, like bills, mortgage.
You're a full adult. You got adult-related expenses. You got any fun things that you're saving up for?
What, like video games?
Yeah. There
and
you go.
buying books. I
And
like,
books?
like comics, like novels, etc.
Totally. That's awesome.
Lindsay, Patrick's also an author and has completed his first book.
That's awesome. Where will it be for sale?
I don't know. It's still being edited.
Okay.
Do you know anybody at Costco?
Oh, we might. Are we allowed to know what the book title is, or is it not to be shared yet?
Sorry, it's not to be shared.
That's
yet.
okay. That's okay. There's a lot of people in this room. We don't want to get it out. But once it is ready to be shared, we'd love to share it. That's awesome. Congratulations, Patrick.
Thank you.
Nick, you mentioned this somewhat in the video that we all got a preview to, but it is so energizing to see how the Radiance has become such a part of AIS and AIS's culture. From your purview as the company's CEO and leader, what has the impact been on AIS?
It's hard to put into words, and you certainly can't put it on a spreadsheet or an income statement, that's for sure. Just to scale it, we have almost 1,000 full-time employees, and we're $350 million in revenue, so we are a very large company. Somebody asked me, well, what does a program like that cost? And I took serious pause, and I said, I don't know. I every day I'm looking at spreadsheets and margin and everything, and I don't care. I don't know, and it's amazing. I didn't know the answer. I felt like, ooh, don't tell our CFO that but everybody in our company, you can see from that video, you've heard stories earlier, it makes a huge difference. I could be having the worst day in the world. I'll walk out to the factory. I'll talk to Patrick and some of his peers. Get back to my office. I don't even know what I was miserable about, but it was Harry wasn't selling enough. I don't know.
Come on, Harry.
Come on, Harry.
Too busy in a kilt.
But it permeates our entire organization. Our chief operating officer, Steve, he was the one with the heavy Boston accent. He said it. He said, we're just doing more. And it's 250 people now. So
That is awesome.
And we started off small, and my advice would be start small. And there's no perfect path. You outline that. Find your Rick, because this man has he's a retired teacher. I learned this morning, I thought he was a special needs teacher. No, just a regular old teacher for 33 years. But we got fortunate that Rick was with us when we started this program. So, and we do it, we have a group come in called the Sugar Shack. They make fudge and candy, and they come in every other week and set up shop in our lobby. And I get this is an easy yes, all these yeses, but between the sugar and the caffeine, if somebody comes to me with that energy drink that Aaron was, it's a hard no. I'm not doing it.
You got any extras?
I already have the jitters enough between the caffeine, so this was an easy yes.
That's awesome.
I have to just make a couple comments. The Sugar Shack is in Westboro, Massachusetts. In their program, they make fudge and different kinds of candy. And the first day we had them on board, they were expecting to have maybe $200-300 in sales. They did over $1,700 the first day. I had to run home and get my metformin for diabetes because I was running around the offices handing it out to our guys.
Fortunately, we have a good dental plan, too.
Exactly.
So we partner with a few other organizations in Massachusetts. The Riverview School is one, tremendous. If you haven't been exposed to it, look online, the Riverview School. They just received a $120 million grant from one donor whose daughter went to school there, and they made such a difference. But they bought a hotel and a golf course, and they're changing it into a residential program called Friends, Forever Friends. And it's going to be pretty special. So, but I went down there and toured their facility and their program, and one of their students was working in the emergency room at Cape Cod Hospital. And we shadowed him for a while, and Lindsay and I talked about this. If Michael, who we shadowed, can work in an emergency room, and he did inventory and recycling and the blanket warmers, and if our folks can operate glue guns in a factory with autonomous forklifts spinning all over the place, they can work anywhere. Anywhere, anytime.
Lindsay, a couple things just to build on that real quick. This is the guy, folks. He has never asked about tax breaks or benefits.
That's right. Thank you. I didn't think of the tax thing.
It's amazing.
I'm going to get to the CFO and find out. I didn't know about that, so thank you.
With all of the programs that are coming into AIS, some of them are high school programs, and they come in for vocational training to build on their individual education plans. And then we have other programs where they build the individual service plans. And in some cases, compensation is required. We have a memorandum of understanding with them, and we take care of that. We also make sure there's no wage theft, so we make sure they get paid. In other cases, they're just coming in for the training through their own programs, and we gift them furniture. Some of our classrooms in the public schools and private schools around the area have better furniture than the superintendent's offices. It's absolutely amazing. But, you know, it's really because of Nick that this program exists, and the wonderful staff at AIS. And we talk about inclusion. One of the greatest moments I had there is every single day working with Patrick and all the others. But one day there was a gentleman in middle management that came in from the factory, and he was all upset. And what happened was he was afraid he was going to get reprimanded or even fired because he had to speak harshly to a couple of individuals, and it was a safety matter. And when he didn't realize they were part of the Radiance program, and when he expressed he didn't know who they belonged to, he thought they were regular employees, I told him, you need a raise because you treated them like equals.
Yes.
And that's really important. And so what we do at AIS is they are all part of our extended family. And we're so proud to be able to host it. This is the guy that makes it happen every day. Without his guidance and blessing, it wouldn't be happening. And we're only in the infancy. We have a lot more to do.
That's so awesome. Thank you. Nick, For people in the room that may not be the ultimate decision maker, but would be empowered to bring an idea forward to a decision maker, what would help you say yes?
I would say, what would help me say yes? You have to see it to believe it. So please, I welcome anybody who is a decision maker, or if you can get to them. We host over 700 groups a year at our factory and showrooms, and we have great seats to Fenway Park. Most of them come in the summer. Come for a visit and spend a little time and walk through the factory and see what we do and learn, and it just makes a huge difference. So please, come for a visit, bring anybody you want, bring your team, work with Harry and Yvette at PMC. We're happy to host anybody, but I think it's all about seeing, and I would say start small, and you learn. I learn every single day. Spending this much time with Patrick over the last few days coming down here has been awesome for me because I've learned.
That's awesome. Can you share a fun example of how your workforce, how your daily life and your office culture is different but better because of this?
Well, I think you saw my office is out front, so I get to see everybody coming in, and I see the smiles coming and going. And there's been a couple of Danny, who Rick mentioned, he is the mayor. Danny stopped to talk to a customer, and he talked to him a little bit, and then he said, "Well, I got to get back to work now," and then he patted him on the head. Right? And I stood there, and the customer goes, "That was awesome." I'm moving Danny into sales, by the way. Rick put a resume in front of me the other day. This young man had AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Revit. He was a computer genius. And Rick said to me, he said, "Well, he's nonverbal." And I said, "I don't care. Hire him." I said, "I wish half our sales team was nonverbal."
19 years old, and he's been refused 4 jobs.
Yeah.
We're going to take him in.
Just hire him. We're taking him in. Just hire him.
That's
So
so
it's fun. So we had a conversation this morning. Some people have said, "Hey, when are you going to retire?" 3 or 4 years ago, the answer was probably real soon. They're going to have to drag me from the building. I'm having too much fun. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere.
That's awesome. Nick, Rick, and Patrick, thank you for coming down here. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1.